Good morning all, back to working on the van. It's been a couple of weeks, don't really know what the plan is today. I haven't seen this van in a couple of weeks, I've been quite busy. I've been away on holiday, family stuff, but, oh yes, that's it, I was doing the cooling system. So, I think the aim of the game today is to finish the cooling system. I know I mounted this header tank, but I know I wanted to TIG a fitting onto the bottom, so I've got loads of bits and bobs that I threw in here. I'm gonna have a rummage through this lot, find what I've got, and hopefully going to TIG a fitting onto the bottom of this tank and then down round onto the side of the radiator somewhere. Not quite sure where. I'm just going to have to see how it pans out. I know I've done, so these are the matrix hoses, and then I've got a top hose and I've got a bottom hose. I know they've not got clips round, so I just need a way of getting coolant into the system. So I planned on putting a T-piece in here, or a Y-piece, teeing that off to the top of the expansion tank, and then having a fitting at the bottom to bleed water into the rad. So technically when I fill this up, it will fill the rad up, fill the engine up, fill all the pipes up. Hopefully these pipes being higher than the expansion tank shouldn't be a problem, because I know on the Renaults anyway, the expansion tank sits lower, but there's a bleed screw in either pipe. So I reckon it'll be a bit of faffing around, but I think we'll make it work. So first things first, eyeball some fittings, strip it down, see what it looks like. Let's go. And just like that, it's 1 week later. So what happened? I'll tell you what happened. I pulled the rad out of my van. I pulled the header tank out of my van. I obviously tigged the fittings on, like I said I was going to TIG the fittings on. And I remembered that I cannot weld for it. So I seem to remember that I could always weld alley quite well. And I found a scrap of alley that had like practice beads on it, where I'd been practicing welding years ago. And they were pretty good. I tried laying down some beads next to the beads I'd done years ago, and I just couldn't do it. I mucked around with the settings, I checked to make sure that the 100% argon, like the gas in the TIG welder, was okay, bottle pressure was there, I changed flow rates, I changed tungstens, I changed cups, I made sure everything was clinically clean. Every time I tried to weld, it would not work, and I stressed out for hours and hours and hours, threw a strop, and then went home. I've been thinking about it all week, didn't really know what to do. I came down the unit today, went to map a car this morning, didn't really pan out, small fire, another story. And then I thought, right, that's it, I'm going to master TIG welding. So I pulled out the TIG welder, tried TIGging again, wouldn't weld for love nor money. Had a look at the TIG torch, stripped it all down, and I don't know if there was an O-ring not seated or something, but I pulled it all apart, pressure tested the argon hose from the machine all the way up to the torch, seemed fine, put it all back together, and now my welder works again. I thought it was me. I know I'm not the world's best TIG welder. Like, I get it. Like, I'm just a have-a-go hero. I don't do it for a living. I just do it for my own stuff. But I knew I could weld better. And it was getting really frustrating that I just couldn't get my machine to weld. It's a very basic machine. It's just an Eastwood TIG 200. AC, DC, nice bit of kit. It works well. It's not covered in fancy dials and knobs or anything like that, so it's not confusing. And you can normally just turn it on, muck about with the settings, and it will weld spot on. So for when it wasn't welding, it was really annoying me. But I come down here with a fresh head, as I said, stripped it down, put it back together. Seems okay, resharpened the tungsten, went for it, took my time, dialed it in, I've got it working quite well. So I cut the fitting off of the header tank that I welded, cleaned it all up again, and I re-welded it. It ain't the best, I'm gonna tell you now, I'm gonna show you this, but you need to take this with an open mind, because I'm not a welder. Probably don't help that this is a Chinese alley expansion tank off of eBay, but that's just me looking for excuses. But it's on. Look, tigged it on, got a bit funky around there, but it's all nice and clean. The puddle hasn't gone black and horrible anymore. It's still red hot, so I can't touch it. But I'm happy I managed to stick it on, and I don't think it's gonna leak. Tempted now though, to pull the rad back out and sort out that fitting. I'm not zooming in on that, because the closer you get, the worse you'll see it is. But yeah, that fitting there, it is airtight, so I am tempted to, no, I am just going to leave it. I'm not going to muck about with it. It's on, it's stuck on. So, fitting welded on there, fitting welded on there. That now goes and bolts here onto that bracket I MIG'd on there. I do love a bit of MIG. That fitting then screws onto the bottom. So now when I fill the expansion tank up, water will go down the dash 6 fitting. This is a repurposed fuel hose from last time. I just shortened it down. Water will now flow into there, fill the rad up. I've got the bottom hose on there. I've got the top hose, obviously not on, but that goes there. I've got the 2 rad hoses, one there and one goes on there. They've got loads of little bleed screws so I can get the air out of these hoses, because weirdly, I don't know why, they come over the top of the engine. I just think that's a French thing. All I need to do now is make a fitting to go from here. I've got a Y piece or a T piece to the top of the header tank. So when that cools down, I need to TIG weld that hole up in the side because that was already there. So I'm going to put a little plate over that and TIG around that to blank that off. And then I need to put a fitting here. I don't quite know what fitting. I brought my bags that have got loads of goodies in them. I'm going to have a little rummage, see what I can find, see what I can work together. So I'm not going to show you the process. I'm just going to show you the end result. I'm back. Look at that. Found that little spigot, drilled a hole, tapped it, screwed it in. Couldn't find a copper washer, so next best thing, TIG weld it together. Blobbed that hole up, didn't weld a plate on it in the end. I just kept doing little rings until it all covered over. That is done. I can technically fit that now. Oh yeah, look, put my little T-piece in here. I changed the dodgy Jubilee clips to the proper nice fuel line clips. So just need to mount the header tank, bolt it up, bolt that to the bottom, and then I can find a bit of pipe for the top. Yeah, this is all right. Did I weld that in the right place? Yeah, let's fit it. Actually, I can't fit it, it's red hot. I'll let it cool down, then I'll fit it. So, while my expansion tank was cooling down, because it was red hot, I decided to wire up the fuel pump. Nothing really exciting, just run a live wire to the back and then grounded the other side. Now I'm going to test it. Got the battery precariously balanced here. Very technical this, look. Oop. Don't know how well you can hear that, but it works. I don't know why I was thinking it wouldn't work. But yeah, one little step closer. Right, gotta put the expansion tank on now. Now it's cooled down. Look at that. I like that. Bit blobby around there, but oh, it's full of swoof. Better clean it out. Where's the airline? Right, I'm gonna crack on. So, generally, just having a little tidy up, but header tank is in, bottom hose is on. That little hose that side's all tight. Connected a nice little bit of hose to the T-piece, changed all the Jubilee clips and tightened them up. Put Jubilee clips on the two top hoses. I'm sure I've got a bracket somewhere for that. Might reroute them because I don't know how they're going to sit through that fuel line. Put the top hose on there. I end up taking the rad out because I forgot to bolt the cooling fan to it. So I've got an old Renault 5 GT turbo rad here, but this leaked. So I bought the cheap Chinese eBay special alloy ones and I had to swap the fan over. So yeah, nick the fan off that. The fan's now on there. Jubilee clips tight at the bottom. I put the oil feeds on for the oil cooler. They're really weird. They wobble around, but I think that's how they're meant to be. I'm not too sure. I'll just see how it pans out. Annoyingly, I sold the fuel injectors that were in it because if I had fuel injectors, probably wouldn't take much and it might run. Yeah, let's see what I can find in my box. So, rummaged through my toolbox and I found a set of 4 2-litre Ford Mondeo injectors. They're like 150cc a minute at 3 bar. So they're not going to be good for much power, but they should be enough given the size of the engine to get the car running today. Obviously I'm doing the very technical thing of washing all the grime and dirt off with a bit of brake cleaner because you know that's how professional I can be. You watch though, I bet it will work. Look, even cleaning out the baskets. Right, get these fitted. You put some grease in the fuel rail and then bolt that back over. Let's get them fitted. Oh, my hand burns now. Just been having a little wrestle. I'll blade all the loom out, just start plugging it in, like the injectors, throttle position sensor, coolant temp sensors down there. The original sensor in here was connected to this, but this was just like an overheating light for the dash, because obviously it's a Renault 5 extra van, or it's a Renault extra van. It doesn't actually have a coolant temp gauge, so I've binned that sensor off. I found an adapter and I just screwed a Bosch water temp sensor in its place and connected it to the ECU. So if it overheats, the ECU has to tell me, and not the dash. But yeah, connected to coolant temp, throttle position, the injectors, plugged the coil pack in, put the leads on, connected to crank sensor to my billet distributor cap. If you don't know what that is, go back and look at some of my older videos. Connected the grounds for the ECU, connected the ground for the coil pack. I've connected the live very badly into the ignition live from the van itself. I just wedged that in there for testing. But then it dawned on me, whoops, I haven't actually put any of the bay loom in. So like, you know, the alternator wiring, the cooling fan wiring, the wiring for the starter motor and stuff like that. So at the moment, I'm just having a little wrestle. I'm just trying to remember where it all goes. So I know that goes on there. I'm pretty sure that one goes on there. And that little one goes on there. I'm just laying it all out. I don't know, just going with the flow. We don't know how it's going to pan out. Right, let's crack on, as always. Oh, I haven't put the boost pipe on. I've just left it off because it's a bit fiddly to get that boost pipe back on, because there's not a lot of room, and obviously I'm not leaving these injectors in forever. I've just sort of shoved them in the hole just for testing, and also I've got some petrol to put in it, obviously. But I'm going to disconnect the feed from the rail and stick it in a bottle, and then I'm going to get the ECU to activate the fuel pump. Got to wire up the fuel pump as well, forgot about that. I'm going to get the ECU to activate the fuel pump, and I'm just going to probably pump a litre or two through the system, because although I've been, you know, I've kept it clinically clean, like doing all the, you know, all the fuel lines and blowing them all out and brake cleaner in them and stuff like that, you still don't know if they're swathing the fuel system. So I'd rather just pump a litre or two into a bottle, discard it, and then connect it all up, so I know I'm all happy and good to go. There is a fuel filter, but you don't know if I've, you know, got dust in the fuel filter or whatever. So yeah, tied up the oil feed. I think gonna have to put a copper washer under that, but we'll see if it leaks. I just want to see if it will run. If it will run, I'll be very, very happy. Right, I'm gonna crack on. I'm waffling. Get over there. Goes that way. About there. Battery's in the hole. I forgot the earth strap, so I've nicked the earth strap off the old engine. It go bolts down onto the top of the block, over to there, so I've got the earth done. Got that wiring loop in as best as I could, everything's tightened up. I swapped the fan switch for the one that come with the van, because I think it's had a bit of a dodgy wiring loom at one point, and someone's put two spade terminals on the cooling fan switch wiring. So for now, I've just put that switch in there and plugged it back on. Fan all plugs in. I need to plug the reverse light switch in. The loom's not all in the place where I want it to stay. I've literally just lobbed it on to get it in, if you know what I mean. Connected it back over here by the bulkhead. It's like the main plug. That's where it comes from. It's not run properly. I'm sure it needs to go down here and through that clip, looking at that. So yeah, I've put that the wrong side. But yeah, that's okay. It's in. Connected the starter up, connected the trigger. Now, I can connect the battery terminals, and hopefully we might be able to see some signs of life. I've not got the fuel pump relay wired up yet. Put this down. Right, wedge the positive terminal on there. That goes down to the starter and feeds back up into there. That's all nice and loose. That's going to cause me some issues, but enough to get it running. That's my fuel pump wire, as I showed you earlier. Let's see what happens when I... well, that's not going to work, is it? That's my main earth strap. Right, I need to make an earth strap. Okay, cut. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I've got the earth strap, I'm just heating it up, and I'm melting solder down into the socket, because that's all I have to hand, and it's all I can use to make it work. I'm just heating it up as best as I can before my blowtorch runs out of gas, because I don't have no more gas. Well, I might have, but I don't know where it is. So, heating it up and blobbing solder into it. Ah, yes, yes, of course, that's hot. Fuck. You pleb. Battery's in. Wired up the fuel pump relay, and now we have signs of life. And oh, goddamn. So that needs to be put on tight, I get it. Just give me a break here. Tight. And probably should put some oil in it. Let's do that. I'm pouring it in. Can't remember if I tightened the sun plug or not. I'm sure I would have. Can't remember how much these take. Been a while. Well, just under the maximum, so by the time that fires up and fills the oil filter up, I'm sure that'll be spot on. Right, now I want to purge the fuel system. Let's do that. Exciting. Got some of Shell's finest V-Power going in. I don't even know this tank. It's gonna leak or not. I don't even know if the fuel system's gonna work. Time will tell. What I should really do is take the plugs out, disconnect the coil, and crank it until I get oil pressure. But I'm not gonna, because I have faith. Right, so I've got the feed from the pump or from the filter up into this bottle. I've tightened up the earth because I don't want no sparks. So hopefully, oh, I left the keys on the roof. Hopefully when I crank it, what will happen is the pump will prime. And after a while, I'm praying it will draw the fuel up, and then the fuel will start spraying out into that little bottle. Let's see. Oh yes. That, spot on. There's a bit of antifreeze in there, hence the pink. But there's no crap in there. Do one more pulse. Two more. Mate, that's spot on. No debris in there. Looks alright. Right, reconnect it to the rail, see if it'll build fuel pressure. Little nip. Where's my spanner? Obviously only the high quality air-equipped spanners that I use. Right. Now it should build fuel pressure. Hopefully we have no leaks. So, oops. When I prime the ignition this time, I want to see or hear the pump labour and the fuel. I can't get my words out. Can't even think. Right, what I want to do is when I prime it, the fuel pressure should build and you should hear the pump labour, and maybe you'll hear the bubbling in the tank where the air gets pushed through into the tank. Let's see what happens. Sounds alright. No leaks, nothing dripping. How much fuel does it say I've got? Well, the light's on. Put a little bit more in. Right. I keep like eyeballing everything because everything is so crudely laid out and I can't stand it. I just want to tidy everything up. I want to cable tie everything like out the way and nice and neat, but I'm eyeballing everything around the exhaust and it all looks good. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to crank it and see if it will run. Oh, come on. Oh, you pleb. I need to rescale the injectors. It's scaled for 600 cc's. And now it's got 150 cc. Right. Plug my laptop in, gonna rescale it, and then we'll stand more of a fighting chance then. Oh, I'm excited. So, on the Max ECU, you've got, under injectors, you've got absolutely shed loads of pre-scale fuel injectors. So if you're ever worried about scaling fuel injectors, just go into the software, look under injectors, and then you can just choose whatever injector you can buy that suits your needs. And it even gives you the part number of every injector next to it. So you just Google the part number, find who's selling what injector and buy it. But there is no scaling for 150cc Mondeo injectors. So I've had to go to user defined. I've chose a Bosch fuel injector, similar size, and then 254cc. And then after I've chosen that injector, I then click on user defined. And what it will do is it will use the dead times for the last injector you chose. And then I can just change the actual cc to 150. It's only roughly. Base fuel pressure 3 bar. Just roughly to get me close. So yeah, hopefully that will do it. Right, let's try that. Do 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 do. I feel like I need to give it some throttle, but the throttle cable is not connected. I'm going to connect the throttle cable. Let's try that. Can't quite get in the van because it was on the ramp, so let the ramp down, taking the back arms out, just rolled it forward, not run anything over my, oh my god, this van's starting to look so good. Even more so, it's sounding closer to starting. Oh, that sounded like it just got stuck open. That ain't ideal. Oh no. I don't think the cable is in properly. I remember now, I pulled it out the bulkhead like an absolute spanner, didn't I? And now it's stuck. Oh, I need to calm down, chill. Need to stop rushing. Just because it's my own van and I really want to hear it run. I can kind of make it rev. On the plus side, all pressure light's gone out. I think what it needs is a bit of carb cleaner or easy start. Just to see if it'll catch off that. Starting to turn over faster, now it's getting oil pressure, so that's a good sign. Why do I feel like something might not be quite right? Earth's getting warm, but then that's going to happen. I can do a bit of playing. Nah, I'm calling it. I think what's happened is, where I've had the distributor out, I haven't got the little geared tooth in the right place, so I think the timing's out. What I need to do is get my timing light out, and then I can eyeball it to make sure it's right, and then adjust it to suit. But because my I haven't got, I need to TDC it on number 1, and then I need to put a paint mark on the crank so I know where true TDC is. and I just haven't got the energy or the enthusiasm to do that today. So as close as it is, I'm going to call it a day. Yes, until next time. I'm sure, in fact, I promise I will have it running in the next video. Bye.